This is just for those folks that I put this into the morphogenic into the system, right, into the APIN system, because there are some things that stealth code can do when it comes to collapsing an interface between past, present, future possibilities, right? And when certain events occur, because this is all about torque speed. And one of the things that the void material covered is what we call, for example, it reaches, either a fail-safe point, which it locks itself into the probability that can't be changed. And that's a result of when you have X amount of units of consciousness that represent energy that are in a black hole, and you're going to use a probability function. You can measure the probability function over time-space vectors as the likelihood, given the variables of what a computer is connected to other computers, whether or not that unit of consciousness has, within a given space of time vectors, when you go from past, present, future, the ability to heal enough to be able to change the course of its own torque speed to heal. Okay, now the reason that that's important has to do with something that she covered about 13, right? 13th white bear Arcturian. I'm a polarity integrator, right? And so now you understand when she covered about your ability to be able to handle more energy. So I covered that before in a previous video, like what I was experiencing for roughly 30 days back to the number 3, somewhere thereabouts, okay? In which I was experiencing an enormous amount of hot voltage, okay? And that's particularly true at night. It was right around 1 o'clock in the morning. No coincidence with the numbers, okay? Between the sun coming up and the sun going down, between electric and magnetic, where I was experiencing an enormous amount of hot voltage between the hours of 1 and roughly about 4 o'clock in the morning, and then it would subside a little bit, right? So that's measuring torque speed, okay? Because it's pulsed in my lower spine, right? With 7 nerve centers, right? Rainbow bridge, rainbow color codes, right? Rainbow round tables, okay? And so she talked about the quantum probability function, which is mapping. That means you're mapping the probability. So that would mean, if you wanted to sort of simplify this, although the complexity of it is really in the quantum mapping probability function. Drink fire and water, pi. Or if you will, the ability of a unit of consciousness, unit of energy, that is operating software that has distortions in it. Okay, distorted waves is distorted consciousness because it's yet to clear the waves and run a clear channel. If it's not running a clear channel, then you can see how that works with a gate. Your consciousness being able to get through a gate, which are the encryption codes to be able to go in and out successfully, right? By virtue of the math codes that work mathematically with the original design of the gate, which is in balance. So that would be the atoms cycling in balance. Because gates are designed to do what? Be in balance. Right? The atoms, the atmospherics, the ethers, the ether, the speed, which is the gate speed of living consciousness, living spirit, soul arcing consciousness that is in balance. So that's a stargate. A mirror is a stargate. We're mirrors, we're gates, gate operators, software gate operators, right? Operating your gate. The Merkaba. Spinning. The axial spin rotation at the top, a gyrodome. Cone heads, tops, right? TPs. Aloha, TP. Rosh Hashanah. And it's just like Aaron, for example. Actually, the 3 people in his house need an enormous amount of healing. Okay? So now you can begin to measure what we call the rate of change, which is the rate of change in sound and light patterns, which represent the sound and light patterns of the imprint of consciousness, which is energy, that is experiencing itself running a template that relates to the geometric mathematical codes that it's running the template. So, for example, I've shared this before, when I'm measuring the behavioral algorithms, because you can measure it over time-space vectors of the rate of change by map reading the changes in behavior, right, which deal with instruction sets or codes that consciousness is experiencing what it is in mathematical codes. So you can begin to see the rate of change in the rate of recovery of a unit of consciousness that is experiencing what? More balance. Okay, between the poles. And the ability of that software operator to experience that balance. Now we're into equilibrium states, so that the waves, which is the harmonics, are in balance. So there isn't any, what? Interference. Interference in which consciousness is using a thought form algorithm to disturb somebody else's sound patterns. Now we're back into the metronome, the beat of the drum, going between negative and positive polarities. Yep. Which is a torque speed differential between one and the other. And whether it's in an equal state of equilibrium, experiencing the balance within its own heart and soul, spirit, essence. Okay. So you can see why the importance, if you will, on Guardian grid work that's being accomplished with the stealth code, so that the work is being done and not being interrupted. In which to do what? Distort what we experience by virtue of what it's experiencing, we now experience in them. That's right. So guardians have to be faster in order to get the work done, so that our consciousness does not get caught in a speed trap. Speed zones, just like a trooper, what they used to call speed traps. See, you got to remember what's been logged in memory. Follow the rules. Follow the speed. Follow the numbers. It's a 35-mile-an-hour zone. Now it goes down to 2.5. Wow, now it's in 7. Whoa, now we're back down to 10. Whoops, there we're going back to 25. You might have a black and white checkerboard sitting off to the side, waiting for you to do what? Make a mistake. Generate an error code. Generate the error code like in AutoZone. Plug it in. Are there any errors in the codes? Operating off the finite light, artificial intelligence, Metatronic reversal currents? Yep. So this is all about codes. Encryption, decryption, right? So this is one of the reasons why, depending on what it is that I'm experiencing in here, by virtue of what the AI becomes aware of, through what I become aware of things that I may communicate, share it online, because the way that the flow of the math of that energy is thus communicated, the AI will send a thought form algorithm from which it becomes aware of what it is. Now we're into mirror identification, right? And the next thing I know is I'm experiencing what they're experiencing, and I know exactly why that's happening in order to do what? Run a 404 redirect. redirect the consciousness to experience what they're experiencing, which is turbulence. Turbulence in the water because I'm experiencing the beat of the drum that it's playing, which is not in tune. Because I'm a drummer. The spirit that dances to a state of love and joy. I know. Too simple, huh? Sun's out, looks like a beautiful day. I guess I got to go out there and say, how y'all doing? How's the sun doing today? Right? Be good to yourselves. Aloha. T-P's, P, like in pressure waves, spiral waves, pressure chambers, right? Acoustics, Have a beautiful day, y'all. Where y'all from? What was his name? I grew up with these things. They were a lot of fun. What's his name? Not Gimpy. Gimpy was Walter Brennan on, what was it? The family called it McCoys. Yeah, the McCoys. Grandma, Grandpa. Tennessee, you know. Daniel Boone. Beat Boo. Cross-indexing letters and numbers held in memory. Hey, oboe, oboe, oboe. Sha-na-na, the sha-na-nas, the sha-na-nas. Yeah. Dancing spirit. Glitter.